Jamie, first of all, thanks for being here. It's a pleasure to count on your participation.
Thanks for having me.
I would like to start talking about the IFC's climate investment focus. Can you provide the background of the mission towards scaling real estate sector decarbonization and green construction in emerging markets, including IFC programs in Latin America, please?
Yeah, with pleasure. So IFC is the private sector arm of the World Bank. We operate across all emerging markets, trying to develop and catalyze growth, alleviate poverty on a livable planet. And that means significant engagements in climate. We did just south of 15 billion investment in climate globally last year. And within that, green buildings is a really big program for us. We are providing capacity, tools, and finance to try and grow the market. And at the center of it all is our EDGE certificate, which is a free tool and certification program that's now being used in over 100 countries globally. And it's a simple way for property developers, property owners, property investors to have measurable results to reduce the energy, the water, and the what we call the embodied carbon in the building construction itself. And it's been a decade-long journey for us, during which we've invested approximately 7 billion of IFC's capital and mobilized another 5 billion. But we can see and track by the use of this certification that over 80 billion has been invested in green buildings worldwide. And the biggest market for us in that is Latin America, where we've had a really impactful program and partnership, both with developers, with REITs, and with banks who are providing green mortgages. And the result is sort of very evident in several of the markets. Colombia is a very good story where there are 6 banks offering green mortgages, and 1 in 3 buildings built today in Colombia are EDGE certified. So it's a hugely growth industry that we're keen to support, but it's being driven not just by us, but by regulation, by investor appetite, and by the tenants in commercial buildings who are offering in the supply chain of multinationals who are trying to green the supply chain.
Let's talk about a specific asset class. Do you see nearshoring as an opportunity in any other countries besides Mexico, especially when it comes to expand building decarbonization? What's the importance?
Yeah, so it's been an amazing story, nearshoring, particularly for Mexico. 29 billion in foreign direct investment last year was a sort of 5.6% growth rate, and significant demand, therefore, on industrial real estate. The expectations of the growth in industrial real estate associated with that has been massive, and green industrial real estate has been a particularly big driver for us. And in our investments, we are hoping to invest about $1 billion in Mexico in 2024, and we think that about 50%, over 50% of that, will be in green industrial nearshoring type associated projects. Whether and how much that expands into the rest of Latin America, we will see. There are other focuses globally that are benefiting from the nearshoring. Vietnam's a big beneficiary. There is potential, I think, in other countries in Latin America. Maybe Brazil has big green industrial ambitions. But I think there'll be a delay on that. Being part of NAFTA gives Mexico a sort of a leg up on that process.
Yeah. Latin America is the second largest market for IFC investments in green buildings. So how has IFC utilized REITs in the region to expand sustainable development and decarbonization via your climate advisory and offerings like EDGE certification?
Yeah, so REITs are a really efficient way for the real estate sector to attract capital, and we've been partnered with several REITs in the Latin American region. And initially, of course, the EDGE Green Building certification's been a big piece of that. And several of the larger REITs, Mexico again, are all certifying significant proportions of their portfolios. But we're now going one step further and engaging with the REITs on very intentional portfolio level decarbonization. And we have a combined advisory and investment program, which we call GRIP. It's Greening Real Estate, to engage with these REITs to look at their entire portfolio, do a baseline, set a target, and then prioritize an investment plan that enables that. And it can be a combination of influencing their acquisition plans. It can be refurbishment, changing the lighting, changing the insulation. It can be about on-site renewable energy production. It can be off-site, so how you purchase your power. And it can even be about which assets that you think you cannot green and you will sell. And then ultimately potentially offsets for what you can't resolve at the building level yourself. And we've had very successful engagements with REITs on this. Visum in Colombia is one of the bigger ones. We recently did this program with, and that resulted in a significant financing that both helped their portfolio transition and some acquisitions. And we were able to do that as a sustainability-linked loan where not only is our client committing to action over time, but we put our money where our mouth is as well, and we give a pricing incentive if they're meeting their KPIs during the period of the loan.
Yeah, just to reinforce what you just said, we hear from fund managers more and more that they are declining projects, investments that are not green. So yeah, this is a big trend for sure.
Yeah, it's a amazing trend, and it's accelerating. We are really excited by it, and it's taking off exponentially across these markets.
Great. My last question: why should Latin America investment focus include resilience, and how can developers integrate it into their overall ESG strategies?
So look, thank you for asking this question. It's climate risk. If you're a banker, you talk about, one would talk about climate risk in terms of the transition risk, which might be new regulations or investors wanting green buildings. That's more about the mitigation side, that's emitting less GHGs. There's also physical risk, and climate change is happening faster than anyone expected. The extreme weather events, the temperature change, it's all happening way faster than anyone expected. So resilience has been, frankly, a little forgotten in this process. Greening is really accelerating and is becoming mainstream. The resilience piece, less so, and it needs serious attention. It's both climate resilience and, of course, in Latin America on the Ring of Fire. If you're in Chile, on the Pacific side, then seismic resilience is equally important. And so we've been developing in recent years a building resilience index, which is kind of the sister product to EDGE for us. And we're excited to see that beginning to take off in adoption. And we're engaging with, again, property investors, REITs, developers, but also importantly, the insurance industry on this one, to try and make sure that property owners who are building resilient see the benefits in their premiums.